Okay, so today what I want to do is I'm going to capture some of my favorite preset sounds from the Quad Cortex into captures that I can use on the Nano Cortex. And the reason I want to do this is, many of my tones on the Quad Cortex, number one, I use some amp captures that aren't readily available, at least out of the box on the Nano Cortex, specifically the Mesa Boogie Lonestar. Two, I tend to stack overdrives for my tones on the Quad Cortex, and you can't really do that on the Nano Cortex because there's only one capture slot. So what I wanted to do today was take some of my favorite tones from the Quad Cortex, build a single capture out of them that then I can use on the Nano Cortex. So let's talk about the cabling setup I have right now. So right now the guitar is coming into the Nano Cortex, and I have this output going to one of my studio monitors, and then I have the capture out here going into my Quad Cortex, and then the Quad Cortex has one output going to my other studio monitor, and then the other output is going into the return on the Nano Cortex. So that's our cabling setup. And there's some aspects of that that are going to affect how we set up the preset to be captured. So let's go to the preset, and you can see I've got my Lonestar rig preset here, and we're either running a clean Lonestar or a drive Lonestar, but we're running parallel amps. And we've got some effects. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to disable the effects first, because a capture process can't capture time-based effects. So let's go ahead and turn off all the ambient effects and all of the modulation effects as well. Make sure they stay off. Okay, so now we just have a nice dry tone. And here's one with a Nobel OD1 in front of it. We have the Lonestar drive. And then we have a couple leads. So we're going to capture all 5 of those tones. So one of the things we're going to need to do is, I mentioned I'm running stereo amps here. If we look at the mixer, I'm really just painting those a little bit left and right to get a little bit of spread. Now, if you notice in our cabling setup, you can only capture in mono. So what I'm going to need to do is go ahead and just run everything kind of down the middle so that we're getting the same output left and right. Otherwise, my capture would only be capturing one side, and I want it to be a little fuller. So we're going to do that. Make sure we're not doing anything funny on balance for the IR, which we're not. The other thing you're going to notice is the gain knob for the capture is all the way down, and we're still almost peaking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the output here, and I'm going to bring down the output. What I want to do is I want to have this about halfway. So I think that's about right. So that's a good level. So that's the other thing, is I find I need to pull back the output volume on the preset overall in order to get it to be at the right level for the capture. And so we're going to go ahead and start the capture. Okay, so we're done, and we've got, this is our capture. And here's the source. Sounds right to me. So we'll go ahead and say that library. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through the rest of the tones, and then we'll hear how they all sound. Okay, so we have our captures created. Let's go ahead and check out the ones we created here. If we look at my neural captures, we've got the clean with the OD1, the drive lead, and the OD1 lead. So if we go back, and you can see for all of these, I'm just running the capture. There's no IR because the IR was included in the capture. And then we've got a noise gate and some delay and reverb on them. So here's the clean. So I think that turned out pretty good. It sounds just like the Lonestar and the Quad Cortex. Let's go to this one that has the Lonestar clean model with the Nobel OD1 in front of it. And then this is the Lonestar model on the drive channel. And this is the Lonestar drive channel with the Archer icon model in front of it. And then go to other presets. It's the Lonestar clean with the Archer icon into the OD1. So it's a real mellow kind of lead. So all those turned out really well. And as you can see here, I've captured a few other of my models as well. So I captured a lot of the tones from my kind of basic preset. Here's the clean. And this is the rhythm tone with the Victory Jack preamp. And then I put the HRM in front of this as a boost. And then here's the lead tone from that preset. And then I even got some of the tones I captured off the Tonex. Here's the clean and the crunch. And we've got an OD50 clean. And I think this is a 2-rock Bloom drive. A nice kind of low gain. And then this is, I think, a classic reverb on kind of a gainy tone. So all these captures are on my Cortex Cloud account. The link for that's in the description. All these captures, I built them for the Nano Cortex, but you can use them on the Quad Cortex as well. Feel free to grab them and use them. If nothing else, it might save you some CPU usage. So I think this is a great way to kind of capture some of your tones on the Quad Cortex, put them in the Nano Cortex. It makes it kind of lighter. You can take the tones with you to travel. You don't have to take the whole Quad Cortex. You don't have to worry about maybe damaging the screen or something if you're in a not so safe environment. I think the Nano Cortex being smaller and having no screen is maybe a little sturdier, and you don't have to worry about banging it around so much. But I'm really happy with kind of how the tones transferred over. And thanks for watching.